Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Persian Vegan Cooking with me, Mohammad. So today I'm going to show you something that's a little bit of my own invention. It's a take on Zereshk Polo, but instead of rice we're going to use cauliflower, and instead of chicken we're going to use tofu. So stay with me and I'll take you through this. So for today's recipe, this is what you'll be needing. This is 3 cauliflowers that I've roasted for about 2 hours actually on a very low temperature in the oven, just so that all the water drains out of it. So that's what you want to do to prepare for this. You see that I've actually burned it a little bit, and that's okay, don't worry about that if that happens. But essentially what you want to do is you just want to dry out the cauliflower as much as you can. I have about 1 cup of zereshk. You could do 1.5 cups, you could do a little bit more, a little less. I think 1 cup will be enough. 1 lemon, 1 onion. This is 1 package of firm tofu. You can pick your whatever brand of tofu you like, but you just want it to be firm tofu. This is about 2 spoonfuls of sesame seeds, roasted, just for a little bit of a crunch. You don't need it, but I highly recommend it. So this is about 2 spoonfuls of maple syrup. You just need something to sweeten with. It could be honey, it could be sugar. Just a little bit of maple syrup I think is a really nice touch for it. I also have about 2 cloves of garlic with me here. And for this recipe you'll need a ton of saffron and a ton of turmeric. Okay everyone, so the first step is we're gonna season the tofu. So this is a firm tofu. I took it out of the water that it was in, and I'm definitely just gonna use some tissue paper here to squeeze the most amount of water that I can out of it without really ruining the tofu itself. So just go around and squeeze and make sure that you kind of drain it as much as you can of its liquid. And then once you do that, you just kind of want to make it cut into it. I like to cut into it like this, like into 3 layers, and then make kind of awkward rectangles like this. I'm gonna dump this all into a plastic bag. You could also do this with a Tupperware. Next step is to chop up your onion and garlic and add it to the bag as well. And just dump all of this again into the bag. You also want to just chop up your garlic really tiny. If you have a garlic press, that would be amazing. I just don't, so I'm just gonna chop it all up as much as I can. Next, you want to dump a little bit of the maple syrup, just maybe about a spoonful in there. And then you want to just juice about half of this into your bag as well. And then once you juice it, I actually kind of I go in and I chop up the rest of it, and I also dump that in for flavoring. Once you've done all of that, I add a bunch of turmeric in here, a little bit of saffron. I'm gonna salt the whole thing now a little bit, and then pepper as well. And then just to top it off with a little bit of olive oil. And once you've done that, you just seal up the bag, take the air out of it, and just shake it around. Make sure that it all just mixed together. So this is ready now. We're gonna let it sit in its juices for about half an hour before we cook it, and I'll show you what to do in the meantime. Okay everyone, the next step is that we gotta grind up all of our cauliflower. So I have my blender out, and I'm just gonna start dumping. So there you have it. You see that it's shredded and it almost looks like a rice. So this is gonna be the base of our dish basically. So just do this with the rest of your cauliflower, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright everyone, so I have some coconut oil going on top of the heat, and I'm just gonna add my fake rice to the oil. Okay, just mixing it in. I'm gonna add a little bit of turmeric, and I'm adding the rest of maple syrup here. So with maple syrup, you may find that you may like a little bit more, you may like a little bit less. It just, the sweetness really helps. So add as much as you need. Of course, salt. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside now. I'll show you what to do, and then we'll put this back on the oven. So now in a frying pan, I have some oil going. I'm gonna add my zereshk, all of it, to the oil. We're gonna add a little bit of saffron to it, some salt, and then a little bit of hot water. I've dissolved whatever was left of the maple syrup, and I'm gonna pour it on top of it. You'll see once it's cooked down that it'll change colors to a little bit of a darker color, and that's where we want it to get. Okay, so once your zereshk gets around here, you just want to dump it all back into the pot with the cauliflower. And then we'll still put this aside. We'll need this pot, so just keep it and I'll show you what to do next. So in that same pot that you had going, I'm just gonna add all of my tofu content and the onions. Just dump in all the juice, make sure you get all of it. And then what you want to do is you want to take out the lemon chunks. Otherwise it'll just get bitter if you leave them in and fry it with the tofu. Alright everyone, so this has been frying now for about 10 minutes or so. You see this part takes a bit longer than you would think, just because there's still quite a bit of liquid in the tofu. So just take your time with it. Just leave it on medium heat. You don't want to burn them or anything. We do want it to be on heat for a bit, just so that it dries out a little bit more. Alright everyone, so as you see, the tofu has been cooked down. It's a little bit crispy, and this is the point where it's good, and we're gonna just add this whole thing, our other mixture here. We're gonna mix it in. I usually add the other half of the lemon around here, and maybe a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. Never hurt anyone. Also right around here is where I would do a taste test. So for me it needed a little bit more maple syrup, so I'm just adding that in. I like it a little bit on the sweeter side. So right now this is more or less ready to go. So just let it sit for 10 minutes on the stove, just so the flavor is all mixed together. And then next I'm going to plate it for you and show you what that looks like. Alright everyone, so here it is. This is the final result. As you see, it's not the most glamorous looking dish, but it's actually really good and it tastes just like the original dish. As you see, I've added the roasted sesames on top here. It's really nice and it's really healthy, really easy to make, just takes about half an hour tops. Highly recommend it. And thanks for watching. I hope that you make this, and if you do, please let me know. I'd love to see it. Thanks again. Bye.